fashion can speak 1,000 words that words cannot. I know that this is a bit of an awkward place to start a vlog in the bathroom, but we're going to Lady Gaga tonight and I've been meaning to vlog all day but haven't really done much except Mum's been meal prepping, I've been resting, so nothing has happened. But we're gonna hop in the shower and start the getting ready process. So I'm gonna take you guys along with me and also show you some shots from the concert. So if you're interested in that, keep going. Alright, so we're just about to start the hair routine and I wanted to show you the products that I used because my hair was cut and dried on Thursday and it lost all its texture, so this is how I'm going to get it back. What I do is I dampen my hair, or saturate it depending, and then I use a volume lift in the roots, and then in the ends I use a texture spray. I use a curl gel, my god. But the trick is, okay, to use a shirt. That is the best way to dry wavy hair. If you want texture, if you want wave, use a towel. So I'm gonna do that now and then I will see you guys when I'm doing my makeup. Okay guys, so I've never used the tripod on my desk, so hopefully this looks okay. We're about to start makeup. Now, I have a look that I'm wanting to go for. I don't know if it's gonna turn out the way that I want it. But I thought, whilst doing this, instead of just doing a slow-mo, I'd actually talk to you guys like we're on FaceTime. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about is... Sitting here, just know that you are in for a very long conversation. The shot is 22 minutes long. Hopefully I can edit it down, but good luck. Oh my god, where's my other... Oh my god. What I wanted to talk to you guys about is I watched a video by Florence Given yesterday and it was about how it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I think I kind of wanted to take my own take on this. So, obviously it's coming up to the new year. And coming up to the new year, that means that everyone is getting their goals ready, and in getting their goals ready I find that people can get way too caught up on what they're not achieving, and I think that's such a disservice to themselves. And what she was talking about reminded me of that, because all the time, you know, and I'm guilty of this too, being a competitive athlete, you go, I've got to reach the next time, I've got to reach the next milestone, I've got to reach this, I've got to reach that. But what if the goal is the training itself, right? What if the goal is, instead of I'm gonna reach, you know, let's put it into a YouTube perspective, instead of saying I'm gonna reach 100,000 followers by the end of 2026, which is my personal goal, I'm gonna say I want to post once a week, every week, once a week, whatever it may be, I want to post, and that is the goal. Now, obviously, that does not diminish the fact that we should have big goals, or we should strive for better. Of course we should strive for better. There's no other way to live except strive for better, in my opinion. But I do think that by putting the goals into simpler terms, for example, posting once a week, you in a way take the pressure off, because saying I want to reach 100,000 subscribers by December 31st is amazing, that's great, but that's not necessarily in my control, right? It has so many other facets, such as you guys watching this, the algorithm, so much stuff has to go into it for it to actually become feasible, which I believe that it will, right? But I think that me going post once a week, that's in my control, right? I'm the one that posts, I'm the one that records. And so it takes away that whole thing of, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What if this doesn't happen? All I need to think about is posting, right? And by doing that, I think, and I'm gonna link the podcast episode because she talks about this way better than what I can because it's her idea. But I think when you focus on every single day doing one thing to get closer to your goals, that's where the magic is. It's not in the goal itself, it's in what you do to achieve the goal. And I personally can attest to this, right? Because I'm gonna put this at 2x speed, so one sec. For example, when I climbed the Great Wall of China when I was 11, of course, China was absolutely incredible and I would go back there in a heartbeat and I would love to do it all over again. But what I actually have fond memories of is the training and the going to Canberra to train and going around Centennial Park all the time with my family on the weekends trying to build up strength in my legs. That's what I have fond memories of. Similarly, you know, graduating high school, that's an amazing thing and I'm so proud of myself that I did that. But that's when I think of high school, I don't think of graduating. That's not where my mind goes. My mind goes to the days I spent in high school. And granted, you know, high school for me wasn't necessarily the most enjoyable experience, for a lot of different reasons. It, you know, that's what I remember. I don't remember the graduation ceremony. I remember the days I spent leading up to the graduation ceremony. You know, I don't think, or, you know, even like going to a concert tonight. Yes, obviously, going to the concert is the goal. That's like the main thing. But it's the lead up. It's the getting ready. It's the, you know, making sure that I listen to the new albums and, you know, make sure that I don't watch anything on social media so nothing gets spoiled. That's where the fun is. It's not, you know, necessarily the concert itself. Now, of course, the concert's going to be amazing, and I have no doubt that it will be amazing. But I do find that it's like the next day I almost feel down because I get off the high. Whereas the journey to the concert, it's a constant high, right? Because you're thinking about it. You know, and you can, Florence, when she was talking about this, took it in perspective of when she was writing her novels. Yes, she's incredibly proud of herself that she is a author, and I believe a New York Times bestseller, if I'm not mistaken. And that is incredible. But what she loved was actually going to the cafes and writing. That's where the passion lied for her, not necessarily, oh, I'm an author and having that title. And I think going into 2026, if we can all have that mindset of, I'm gonna, obviously have my end goal in mind, right? But I'm going to truly romanticize the journey to the goal. That's where the best year you'll have sits. Because a year is 365 days. A goal, and achieving the goal, is one day. It could even be a couple hours, depending on what the goal is. And so I think allowing yourself to kind of not take pressure off the goal, but just realize that there's so much more. Yes?
I need my glasses.
Okay, that's fine.
Are you
Yeah.
filming?
It's fine, I don't care.
Alright.
Mum just had to get her glasses. I think, you know, there's so much. I'm going around in circles, and I know that I'm going around in circles, so forgive me. So let's move on to a different topic, shall we? Let's get into, actually, I want to talk about, I keep seeing videos of people who don't live with a disability, kind of putting their 2 cents into disability pride and disability representation in all facets of life. And I think one of the main things, if you guys didn't know, I'm a huge fashion lover. I have been since I was young. And I saw a video of this girl, beautiful girl, incredibly, you know, stylish and all that stuff. But her video, she stitched a creator who was in a wheelchair, who was doing, you know, a get ready with me in an outfit of the day video. And she stitched it and she said, good on you, but I can't see your outfit, so what's the point? The point is, is there's people like myself who also live with a disability who need to see women loving themselves and feeling beautiful and knowing that they're deserving of showing what they love. You know, I think there's so much to be said for fashion content because yes, it's an outfit, yes, it's simply a piece of fabric, but it also is a way in which so many people, including myself, express ourselves. And you know, living with a disability, oftentimes, particularly if it's a physical disability, we can't show our personalities as much as we would want to. It's not because we're fake, it's not because we don't want to show our personalities, it's simply because we can't move the same as everyone else, we can't go to the same places. And you know, for example, I've always been in love with dancing. I love watching dancing videos, I love watching choreography, I love even like imagining different choreography, but I can't show that facet of myself. You know, I love the idea of performing and acting and being in the creative sphere, but again, there isn't a lot of space for people like me in that. And so through my fashion, I'm able to show it because I can wear things that are stereotypically worn by dancers, or I can wear things that are a bit more fantastical and expressive and show that creative side of myself that I wouldn't otherwise be able to express physically because I can't move like everyone else. You know, and for people that also deal with verbally expressing themselves in a non-traditional sense, again, fashion is a way in which they can express themselves without needing to be verbal, if that makes sense, because in my opinion, fashion can speak 1,000 words that words cannot. You know, color theory, for example. You go into color theory and hang on, I need to stop talking so I can do my eyeliner and not poke out my eye. One sec. Back to what I was saying. So I think I want to, and let me know if you guys would be interested in this. I want to bring fashion content onto this channel, kind of just style ideas for people, because you know, that way I can kind of like sit down and just talk like how I like to. You know, I think there needs to be a space for disabled creators on YouTube also. And if I need to fill that space, then I'm going to fill that space. I was actually thinking about this. You know how there's like the style roots and like the color theory and all that stuff. What if... I've always wondered, what if that didn't exist? Because there was a period of time where it didn't exist, and I think that in that time we had the most fun, most expressive fashion, because not absolutely everyone in the world was completely and utterly consumed with wanting to look flattering. What is flattering? It's not... Flattering is a man-made construct. It's not anything. You know, we could get into the whole fat phobia and, oh, you know, as women we need to look as skinny as possible to be seen as beautiful, or we need to have, you know, an hourglass figure. Honestly, beauty trends change almost, well, actually they do change every decade, and I can guarantee you that not every single decade in the past women have needed to have an hourglass figure. It is only in the past like 20 years that has become such a globally renowned beauty standard, and it's like, why? We think it's attractive because we're told it's attractive, not because we inherently think it is. And that's not to say that anyone with a natural hourglass is unattractive. Please don't take me saying what I'm saying as that. I'm just simply stating that I think fashion shouldn't always be about what's flattering. It should be about, you know, what message am I sending? And that, for me, I think is why I also love alternative subcultures, because it is a political thing, and it is a
thing of, well, what message am I wanting to send out to the world? What opinion am I wanting to spread? And I think if mainstream fashion had the guts that alternative fashion had, we would be in a much better space in terms of body confidence and in terms of all of that stuff, because we wouldn't be trying to fight for something that we don't all naturally have. I don't have a natural hourglass figure. You know, I have a prominent chest, yes, and some may say that I have a prominent butt, but to me, I don't think that's the case at all. You know, I'm also, being a swimmer, I have large shoulders, I have a prominent back, I have quite a wide torso, and to some that is very unladylike, you know. And and again, I fell into that trap of, oh my god, I don't have a woman's body, I don't have a, shut up, I'm a woman, of course I have a woman's body. And I'm going on a bit of a tangent, and I completely understand that, but I think it's important to talk about, because I myself have dealt with a lot of body issues in the past, and feeling the need to present a certain way because of, gender norms and gender stereotypes and, all that stuff. And it's like, I want to bring back a time where fashion was, what opinion am I spreading, or, what interest am I showing? Like, think about, Lady Gaga, perfect example. She doesn't wear things because they're flattering or normal or anything like that. I mean, she's stunning, and I personally think she's very, very attractive. But, she wore a meat dress. Like, if that's not, political and, kind of making a statement, I don't know what is, and I think we need to bring that back. So, I'm going to continue getting ready, and I will talk to you guys later. But I love you, and if you guys want fashion content from me, let me know.
It's now the next day. I'm so sorry I did not come to you guys last night, but in actuality it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was done. I was like, nah, don't want to talk, no words are coming out, nothing is. I almost fell asleep on the way home. So it was amazing, absolutely loved it, want to go again, unfortunately can't, but that's okay. And we are now in the midst of state swimming. So I literally just got back from the first race out of 4 days, so I'm exhausted, but I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. I hope me kind of talking to you guys as if we're on FaceTime is something that you guys enjoy. If it is, please let me know. If you want certain videos, also let me know. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.